Carolina Grable that reached the AFC Championship game. Levis off the fake, looking for Hopkins. He's got it. Touchdown, Tennessee.
Levis to the end zone. Touchdown, DeAndre Hopkins.
Lawrence to the air. Robinson the block, moving up, going deep. He's got him. He's got Ridley. That is 6. What a throw! Touchdown, Jaguars. Looking into the nickel. Here comes the blitz outside for Spears. And broke free. He's gone.
Pollard, right up the middle. Tony Pollard breaking free. Pollard cuts back. Pollard all the way. Touchdown, Dallas.
Levis towards the end zone. Got a man. Touchdown. Wow. Westbrook Akine.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the ZayMoolaSportsPodcast. I'm your host, Isaiah. First off, I want to say happy Labor Day to everyone. And y'all, I'm here live tonight to give y'all my 2024 Tennessee Titans season preview, including their strengths, their weaknesses, giving my stat predictions, giving the key games, y'all. And then at the end, I will give y'all my final record prediction. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Hope everyone's doing well. And again, happy Labor Day to everyone. All right, y'all. So let's get into the first strength. I think the first strength for my Tennessee Titans is the wide receivers. And you're talking about, y'all, last season, we had one of the worst wide receiver corps in the NFL. And now this year, y'all, we have arguably a top 3 or top 5 wide receiver corps in the NFL. So just give a big, let's give a big kudos, y'all, to Rand Carter on the job he has done. Yeah, I mean, it's been incredible to see Rand add Calvin Ridley, Tyler Boyd, y'all. But first, let's get into the man that's returning. That's DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, man, D-Hop is back, y'all. Number 10 for the Tennessee Titans. Still one of the better wide receivers in the NFL. He had almost 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns last season, y'all, playing with a old veteran quarterback in Ryan Tannehill for, 8 games, and then playing with a rookie quarterback, Will Levis, for 9 games. He still put up those kind of numbers. I mean, D-Hop is still a great player. Very happy to have him back. I know there's some rumors about the Titans potentially trading him. Listen, y'all, DeAndre Hopkins is not going anywhere. This man is still a great player, and we're going to need him, this year to help us win a lot of games, hopefully make a playoff push. And so, yeah, DeAndre Hopkins, I mean, I know a lot of people had question marks about him last year, like, oh, is he too old? Is he still the same player that he was in his Texas days and his early Cardinal days? Well, y'all, he showed last year he still has it. So I'm very excited to have DeAndre Hopkins back on this Tennessee Titans offense, y'all. And next up, it's the new man in town, man, number 0, y'all, Mr. Calvin Ridley. And Calvin Ridley is expected to be that big play threat for this offense, y'all. I mean, talking about a guy, Calvin Ridley, that last year he was coming off a suspension, and he still had 76 catches, 1,016 yards, 8 touchdowns. So I think this year, y'all, he's now 2 years removed removed from his suspension. So I think that, he's only going to be able to be a better player than he was last year for the Jaguars. And then plus, y'all, the Jaguars did not use him correctly last year. I think Brian Callahan is going to use him properly. So I expect a big year from Calvin Ridley. But this is exactly what this offense needed, y'all. I mean, Calvin Ridley is so dynamic and explosive with the football in his hands. All you have to do is just give him like 5 yards of space, and he could turn a little 10, 15-yard play, y'all, into like a 35, 40-yard play, because he's just that fast. Y'all seen these highlights. He's just that fast. He's just that explosive. And then y'all finally the last guy that rounds out this receiving corps is Tyler Boyd, former wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. And Tyler Boyd, y'all, for probably the last 5 or 6 years, has been the best slot receiver in the NFL. So this was a great signing by Rand, because we needed that slot guy. Even when we signed Calvin Ridley, I still was saying, hey, we need that slot guy that can get open underneath and across the field, because, y'all, I have, kind of decent expectations for Traylon Burks, but I'm not giving my hopes up on him yet because we still don't know, what he's going to become. But we know Tyler Boyd, he's a proven player, veteran player, guy that's had a lot of production in the NFL, and he rounds out y'all what should be a very strong trio of wide receivers again. D-Hop, Calvin Ridley, and Tyler Boyd. Really, really love this for the Tennessee Titans. I mean, y'all, this is definitely the best wide receiver core we've had in Titans history. Without question. I mean, the last, wide receiver core I think we had this was this good would have been, a couple years ago when we still had A.J. Brown and Corey Davis on the team. But y'all, let's be honest. Corey Davis is not Calvin Ridley. I think Calvin Ridley is a better player. So because that we have a better wide receiver core even than we had then. But this is, again, great job by Rand Carthon. Last year had one of the worst receiver cores in the league. This year, now we have one of the best, y'all. And I think the next strength for the Tennessee Titans is secondary, man. And y'all, I mean, this is amazing because the Tennessee Titans, historically, we have not been known for great wide receivers or great corners. And now this year, we actually have great wide receivers and great corners. So it's good to see a change in Tennessee after so many years of just not being known for that. But now we will be. And first off, let's start with my man, L'Jarius Sneed, who comes in from the Kansas City. Yeah, y'all, L'Jarius Sneed, one of the best corners in the NFL. A guy that last season, during the regular season, did not give up a single touchdown. He only gave up one touchdown all year, and he finally gave a touchdown. It was in the playoffs. So this dude's elite. Y'all saw in these highlights, this is when he was going against A.J. Brown last year, and A.J. didn't have a ton of success. A.J. still my boy, but he didn't have a ton of success against L'Jarius Sneed. But y'all, now the Tennessee Titans, we finally have like that true superstar lockdown cornerback, and you need that because y'all, in today's NFL, yeah, you need great pass rushers or whatnot, but you need guys on that back end and that secondary that can really cover because there are so many elite wide receivers. And you look at this year, y'all. I mean, starting out game one, right on Sunday against the Chicago Bears, we're going against an elite wide receiver trio and Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and Ron Medunze. Okay, so we're going to need, our corners to really cover these guys. I think L'Jarius Sneed is going to be able to do that, y'all. L'Jarius Sneed is a top 3 corner in the NFL. Some people say he's the best. I might still say, Jalen Ramsey and Sauce Gardner, but L'Jarius Sneed is definitely a top 3 cornerback in the league. He's able to lock down wide receivers, y'all. He's so physical. And what I love about L'Jarius Sneed, he's not afraid to tackle. All right, moving on, y'all. Another one of our marquee signings was bringing in former Dallas Cowboys and Cincinnati Bengals cornerback Cheeto Awuzie, y'all. And Cheeto, he's a very good corner. Now, is he a great player? No, but he's very, very good, and he brings some much-needed stability to our secondary. You're talking about last year, y'all. Our second best corner was Sean Murphy Bunting. Okay, that's not good because Sean Murphy Bunting, he's only an average player. Cheeto, y'all, he's a very good player. So you talk about having two just like really, really good. You have one really great corner, one really good corner in Cheeto Bay. So I cannot wait to see what him and L'Jarius Sneed do. I think we have one of the better cornerback duos, y'all. But then I also think we have one of the better cornerback trios because we also have returning third-year player Roger McCreary, y'all, a.k.a. Roger Det. I love to say that, Roger Det. But Roger McCreary, last season, y'all, he did not give up a single touchdown. After his rookie season, he gave up 7 touchdowns. He's very physical. He's a good run defender, y'all. He's also a pretty solid blitzer. And I cannot wait to see what Roger does this year with this new aggressive scheme that we're going to be in under Denard Wilson because last season, somehow Roger, he was still able to be, a very good corner for us, even though our scheme was pretty average. I mean, let's be honest, like, we didn't do anything special with scheming up our players in the secondary. It's not like we were trying to disguise them and confuse the offense. I mean, teams knew when we were in man, and teams knew when we were in zone. But this year's not going to be that way because we have a much more attacking, aggressive scheme. You're not really going to be able to figure us out. And I think he is going to, Roger McCreary, I think he's going to just really thrive under this scheme. But then also, y'all, we bring back number 37, Amani Hooker, who's entering year 6. I can't believe Amani Hooker's in year 6. And when Amani Hooker is healthy, that's the key with him is his health. But when he's healthy, I would say he's probably the top 10 strong safety in the league. And then y'all, we also bring in Quandre Diggs, former safety for the Seattle Seahawks. And last year, Quandre, he only had 1 interception. A lot of people say, he's washed. Y'all, sometimes interceptions, you got to be a little lucky to get them. Let's be honest. Last season, unfortunately, Quandre, he was not lucky, and he wasn't able to get, many interceptions again. He only got 1, but he's a very good player, y'all, extremely good in coverage. And I like the depth of this group. We have Jarvis Brownlee Jr., who's going to be, like our nickel cornerback when Rodgers off the field. Our rookie draft pick, out of Louisville in the 5th round, y'all. And Jarvis, he showed a lot during the preseason, just his tenacity, y'all. He never gives up on any play. He's willing to fight through the wide receiver's hands to make sure that the wide receiver is going to, have as difficult time as he possibly can going to try to catch a football. So you really love that when you got a rookie willing to be very aggressive and very physical like that. So I love the depth again in the secondary. And also, y'all, we signed another former Seattle Seahawks safety and Jamal Adams. Now, Jamal Adams is not going to be your traditional safety because I've been saying this. I feel like he needs to play more in the box, and I do feel like he'll play, a lot in the box for us this season. But when you look at this group as a whole, y'all, this should be a very good secondary. We should be top 10 in passing yards allowed. Maybe even top 5, but I'm gonna just lower my expectation a little bit and say we'll definitely be a top 10 passing defense, y'all, which is great for us because Tennessee Titans fans, we've been through so many years of having just horrible secondaries. This is not gonna be one of those years, y'all. We're going to going to field one of the better secondaries in the NFL. And y'all, I think our last strength is our running backs. And I know this is gonna surprise some people because some people, and I get it, but some people, y'all, really Titans fans, are sad that Derrick Henry is gone. And some people that aren't Titans fans are like, what are the Titans doing? They should have re-signed Derrick Henry. He showed last year he still had it. But y'all, you got to remember, this is a new scheme, right? Yes, we're still going to be running the ball, but the way we're going to be running is going to look totally different than it has ever looked in Tennessee Titans history. We're no longer going to be this smash mouth football team, right? We're going to be running a lot more like outside zones. We're going to be running a lot more toss plays, y'all. We're going to be running a lot more screens for our running backs. So you're going to need your running backs to be very dynamic and very elusive and very shifty, y'all. And we definitely have that. First off, y'all, we got to get into my man, Tony Pollard, former running back for the Dallas Cowboys. And y'all, you look at Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard's coming off what a lot of people consider a down year, and he still had over 1,000 yards. Now, while a lot of people are considering his year a down year, it's because his yards per carry went down significantly. In 2022, y'all, he averaged about 5.2 yards per carry. Last season, he only averaged 4 yards per carry. But the reason that number went down is because in 2022, y'all, he still had Ezekiel Elliott on his team. In 2023, Zeke had moved on, went to New England Patriots, and Tony Pollard, he became, that lead guy for the Dallas Cowboys. Y'all, let's be honest, Tony Pollard is not that kind of running back. But when you have a guy like Tajay Spears that's going to come in and they're going to be splitting their carries, now you see we have one of the better running back duos in the NFL. And to me, y'all, this is what makes this duo so dangerous is because you're talking about two dudes that are very elusive, very shifty, very quick, great pass blockers, and can really catch the heck out of a football. And you can run and draw up so many, dynamic plays for them to just get the football in their hands. And I love what our running back coach, Randy Jordan, said a couple of months ago. He said, I'm not really concerned about the number of carries they get per game. I'm concerned about the number of touches they get. And he said one guy, Tajay could have maybe 15 touches for the game, meaning he could have 10 carries, 5, catches. Tony Pollard might have 20 touches. He could have 10 carries and 10 catches. So I really love the balance, y'all. It's not going to seem like we're just so tied down into making sure our running back, gets 25 carries the way we were, with Derrick Henry. Because like with Derrick Henry, we have to make sure that he was getting like 25 running attempts. But with Tajay and Tony Pollard, let's just get the ball in their hands as much as possible, whether that's a run or whether that's a pass play, because they're just so dynamic with the football in their hands. You just want to make sure you get them plenty of opportunities to have the football in their hands. So, y'all, this is a great problem to have when you consider the new scheme that we're going to be running offensively. We need our running backs to be able to catch the football, and both of these young men can do that. So I'm really, really, really excited to see what Tony Pollard and Tajay are going to do. I know a lot of people are probably surprised that I listed this as one of our strengths, but, y'all, I really do think we have two really good running backs that really don't have many weaknesses to their game. And I mean, the only weakness you can say these guys really have to their game is that they're not the biggest running backs and that they're not the most powerful guys. But I think, especially Tony Pollard, I think Tony has more strength than what people think. Like, I think there are times where I've seen Tony Pollard kind of run over guys. I mean, just a couple of weeks ago in our preseason game against the 49ers, he stiffed arm a guy. I think y'all saw that in the highlight clip. So Tony Pollard has a little bit more strength in his game than what people give him credit for. But I think when you just combine, again, y'all, their elusiveness, their quickness, then both being able to be good run blockers and good pass blockers, y'all, and also being really good in the receiving game, I just think this has to be a strength for my Tennessee Titans, y'all. So let's now transition into some statistical projections, y'all. Let's start with, let's get to the weaknesses. I got a little ahead of myself, y'all. So the weaknesses for this team, I only listed two. Is edge rusher and then O-line with a question mark. And y'all, edge rusher, listen, I know a lot of us like Harold Landry, and I do like Harold Landry. But, y'all, Harold Landry is not a superstar pass rusher, right? He's not a dominant pass rusher. And then Arden Key is like an average edge rusher. He's an average pass rusher. So I do think that's a weakness for this team. And then, y'all, when you compare it to the rest of the NFL, it's like, wow, okay, our edge rusher situation is not that great. Because you're talking about a team like, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have T.J. Watt. They have Cam. They got Cam Hayward. They got Alex Highsmith. And obviously T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith, those are their really two edge rushers. But sometimes they do kick Cam Hayward to the edge as well. You look at the San Francisco 49ers, like having Nick Bosa, and then you have like Fred Warner that can come off the edge too, and Drake Greenlaw that can also come off the edge, and Javon Hargrave that can come off the edge and up the middle. Like some of these teams, y'all, in the NFL really have a good edge rushing group. We don't have a great edge rushing group. I would say we probably have an above average one. But when you look at the rest of this roster, y'all, we have a lot of positions on this team that are like really good. Some positions on this team are even great. So I think because of that, edge rusher is a weakness. Again, because we don't have like a dominant pass rusher. Again, Harold Landry is good. Arden Key, he's average. And then outside of that, we have a rookie 7th-round draft pick, Jalen Harrell. But, y'all, he's a rookie, though. We don't know what Jalen Harrell's going to do. Now, he looked great during training camp and during the preseason. But we have to see if he can translate that over to the regular season. And then we got Caleb Murphy, y'all. Yeah, Caleb Murphy's more of a special teams guy, so I don't love our edge rusher group. And then, y'all, the O-line. Right now, I would say the O-line is still a weakness. But I would really say it's probably just the right side. Now, obviously, J.C. Latham, he's a rookie, so we have to see what he's going to do. But I would say the right side is probably a bigger question mark than the left side, because on the left side, you have J.C. Latham. Again, he's a rookie, but he looked pretty good during training camp and during the preseason. You have Peter Skoronski, who's our second-year player, y'all, who had a really good end to last season. I know he didn't start the season great last year, but he had a really good end. And then we have the $50 million man himself, Lloyd Cushenberry, who's a top 5 center in the NFL. So the left side, you feel pretty confident about. But, the right side, Dylan Radins, Nicholas Petit-Frere, you got to see what those guys are going to do. Dylan Radins, up until last year, he had basically been a career backup. And then even last year, he had some times he didn't look particularly great. And then NPF, again, Nicholas Petit-Frere, y'all. Last year, he only played, 3 games, I believe. And then his rookie season, he looked really bad. So the jury's still out on both of those guys. I think by the end of the season, y'all, O-line is probably going to be a top 15 group in the league. But right now, it is a weakness. But again, it's a question mark, right? I'm not saying it's a definitive weakness, because I do think there's definitely some good parts to it. But it's just particularly that right side, because we really don't know what Dylan Radins and NPF are going to bring for us. But again, I think by the end of this season, y'all, we're going to be saying, okay, yeah, they're two pretty good offensive linemen for us. All right, y'all, now let's move into the statistical projections. Let's start off with, I got ahead of myself a few minutes ago, and let's start off, y'all, with our quarterback, Will Levis. And I think he's going to have a phenomenal year. Now, I know some of y'all are going to look at these stats and be like, whoa, Zay, this is really high. But, y'all, I have Will Levis up in his completion percentage by 10 points. Y'all remember, a few months ago, Brian Callahan said that the goal for Will Levis is to up his completion percentage by 10 points. Well, last year, y'all, it was 58.4. This year, I have him completing 68.4% of his passes, throwing for 4,420 yards, 29 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. I have him having a 98.0 passer rating. Y'all, let's look at those passing yards. 4,420. If Will Levis throws for over 4,000 yards this year, y'all, he would be the first quarterback in Tennessee Titans history to do that. Think about that. We have never had a quarterback in our history to throw for over 4,000 yards. So that just really shows y'all like how bad our passing game has been historically. But y'all, I think Will Levis is going to have a big year. And 4,420 yards, if you divide that by 17, that's about 260 per game. yes, I think we're going to be throwing for about 260 passing yards per game. Now, when Brian Callahan was with Joe Burrow, I think Joe Burrow, his second year, he threw for almost like 288. I don't think it's going to be that much, okay, because Joe Burrow is a very great player. And, they did have T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, but y'all, again, we got D-Hop, we got Calvin Ridley, we got Tyler Boyd, and then look at our tight ends, Chig, we got Josh Wiley, David Martin Robinson, and then again, our running backs that I just touched on a few minutes ago, Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears. So we got a lot of weapons on this offense. That's not even naming like Traylon Burks, Jaquan Jackson, and Nick Westbrook and Kennedy. So we got a lot of weapons. We should easily be throwing for about 250 to 260 passing yards per game. And I just think Will Levis is going to have a big year. He's going to show everybody that he's a franchise quarterback. Again, y'all, with all the weapons that he has at his disposal, and with us having this new and improved offensive scheme, I just think, y'all, it's going to be very hard for me to believe that Will Levis does not have a big year. Like, seriously. Because even last year, he showed flashes. He showed glimpses of being a franchise quarterback, and that was with him having only one, true threat on offense, and DeAndre Hopkins having the worst offensive line, probably one of the worst offensive lines in modern day history. I mean, let's be honest, y'all. I cannot remember, in recent years, the offensive line being that bad. So, and he still, played, fairly well. So I just think this year, again, new and improved scheme, better weapons, a better offensive line. I think Will Levis has a monster year, y'all. And I think he proves to everybody he's going to be our guy at quarterback. Y'all, let's move to the wide receivers. I think Cal Ridley is going to have a huge year. I have him getting 80 catches, 1,205 yards, and 10 touchdowns, y'all. And Calvin Ridley said at his introductory press conference that he wants to shoot this team through the roof. And when you look at the way this guy has become one of the leaders on this team, y'all, I really believe that Calvin Ridley is going to show people that he's still a premier wide receiver in this league, because a lot of people have talked very negatively about him. Obviously, a couple of years ago, he had the whole gambling situation, and he got suspended. And then last year, he came back, and I said this early, he had, 76 catches, 1,016 yards, 8 touchdowns. And I think a lot of people are forgetting that in 2020, y'all, this dude was a second-team All-Pro, okay? He had over 1,300 yards, 90 catches, and he looked like one of the better receivers in the league, probably a top 5 receiver in the league that year. We know his route running ability and the speed he possesses, and he's playing with a guy in Will Levis, y'all, that has a cannon of an arm. I think Kyle really has a crazy year. I think he has a Pro Bowl caliber year, and I'm not saying he's going to go to the Pro Bowl, because obviously there are a lot of great receivers in the AFC, but he's going to have a Pro Bowl caliber year. I think he's going to show everybody, remind everybody why he was seen as one of the best wide receivers in the league just like 4 years ago, because a lot of people forget that. See, y'all, it's only been 4 years ago. And yes, I know he's going to be 30 this year, but y'all, I think his age just kind of gets blown, out of proportion. Because when you think about it, Calvin Ridley, he even said so himself. He's 29. He said he's 29 on paper, y'all, but he really feels like he's 25. When you look at him run, he does not move like a guy that's almost 30. He does move like a guy that's only 24 or 25, right? Because he did, have such like kind of extended break out of the NFL, but he's back, y'all, and he's ready to prove to people, hey, I'm Calvin Ridley. I'm one of the best receivers in the league, and I think he has a huge year, again, a Pro Bowl caliber year. And, I think Calvin really is just going to prove to everybody why he was deserving of that $92 million contract that we gave him. All right, y'all, next up, we have wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. And I think D-Hop has another really good year for us. 75 catches, 1,080 yards, 8 touchdowns. Now, I know some people are going to say, Zay, these are basically, his stats from last season. Why are they going up? Well, y'all, you're right. These basically are his stats from last year, because last year he had 75 catches, 1,057 yards, and 7 touchdowns. But the reason I don't have DeAndre Hopkins going up, a ton in terms of yardage, because y'all look at all the weapons. I mean, Tyler Boyd's probably going to get probably 615, maybe, 650 in terms of receiving yards. Traylon Burks probably going to get somewhere between 300 or 400. We know Nick Westbrook Kennedy, it's like every year he at least gets about 350. And that's not even, factoring in Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, Josh Wiley, David Martin Robinson, Chig, and Jaquan Jackson. So, again, we have a lot of guys, y'all, that can make plays on this offense. So, that's why I don't think D-Hop is going to have, like over 1,100 yards or over 1,200 yards. But I do have him getting pretty close to 1,100 yards again, 1,080 yards, y'all. And he's just going to have another just really, really good year for us. Still showing people, hey, I'm DeAndre Hopkins. I have not lost step, at all. I know a lot of people feel like he's an old man. Y'all, he's only 32, okay? And yes, I know for some people 32 is old in terms of still being a productive player in the NFL. But y'all, last year he was 31 and he was still a very productive player, in the NFL. So I expect more of the same from D-Hop this year. Again, have him having another solid year for us. All right, y'all, and finally, for the final stat prediction, let's get into the running backs. Now, I have Tony Pollard getting 900 rushing yards, 350 receiving yards, and overall, y'all, that would be 1,250 in terms of scrimmage yards. Now, I think for the running backs, it was really hard for me to kind of predict this because we really don't know how much we're going to be running the football. Like, last year, and really, in the history of the Tennessee Titans, we ran the ball more than we thrown it. Well, this year, y'all, is going to be the opposite of that, right? The total opposite of that, because we're going to be throwing the ball significantly more than we're running it. So I think, we're probably going to average maybe about 105, maybe 110 rushing yards per game. I also think Will Levis, he's going to have a couple games where he gets about maybe 40, 50 rushing yards himself. But I don't think we're going to have 1,000-yard running back on this team. But I do think, y'all, that Tony Pollard this would be a good year. 900 rushing yards and 350 receiving yards. This would be a good year for him. 1,250 again overall in scrimmage yards. The entire y'all, I have him getting 775 rushing yards, 550 receiving yards, and 1,325 in terms of scrimmage yards. So I think both our running backs are going to be very productive. Again, kind of hard in terms of projecting the rushing yards because we don't know how much we're going to run the ball, and then we don't know how many carries these guys are going to get. But I think this is probably going to be what their final stat line will look like. Again, I don't see us having a 1,000-yard running back. It would really surprise me because both of these guys are going to be getting a decent amount of carries. But I think they will still be productive in the carries that they do get, y'all. Again, Titans fans, we're going to look totally different. So don't expect this team to be running the ball 35, 40 times a game, right? We're not going to be running for 150, 170 yards per game. It's just not going to happen because we're not that kind of team anymore. But that does not mean we still won't have a productive running game because I think we will. All right, y'all, let's get into the key games of this season. I think the first key game, y'all, is week 4 at the Miami Dolphins. Y'all remember last year, we came back on the Miami Dolphins to beat them 28-27. And some people say, y'all got lucky there was a fluke. I would say, well, hey, the Miami Dolphins, they choked the game at the end of the game. And, we were able to make some plays to win us the game. Really, Will Levis and D-Hop, they just were carving that Dolphins secondary up. And, y'all, this is a big game for us. It's going to be Monday night like it was last year, right? But this year, we're bringing in a much better team with us. Last year, y'all, we were severely undermanned, and somehow we still came back. Now, I know Tyreek Hill, he got banged up in that game, but I still cannot believe we beat the Dolphins, especially in the fashion we did. We were down, 2 touchdowns, then we came back and beat them. So I think if we were to go on the road and beat the Miami Dolphins, especially this early on in the season, I think, y'all, people will start taking the Tennessee Titans as a serious threat in the AFC. Not just in the AFC South, but in the AFC in general. Next key game, y'all, I think is week 7 at the Buffalo Bills. And I think this is going to be a very important game because I think us and the Bills, y'all, are going to be pretty even in terms of record. And this could be one of those games that is going to really, really matter late in the season because when you're talking about playoff position, you're going to need a very good conference record, right? And obviously the Bills, y'all, they're in our conference, the AFC. So if we can beat them in week 7 and then, the end of the season, say if us and the Bills, we have the same record, but we beat them in week 7, y'all, but we would get that, the final playoff spot over them. So this is a very important game. I know a lot of people think the Bills aren't going to still be good. Y'all, they'll still be a good team, right? They still have Josh Allen. They have James Cook, who's becoming one of the better running backs in the league. And then you look at their rookie second-round pick, Keon Coleman, y'all, out of Florida State. This dude looks like he's going to be very productive as a rookie. They still have Khalil Shakir. And then their defense, yes, they obviously lost a lot of pieces like Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, Matt Milano. He's going to be out, 6 to 8 weeks. Then they also lost Tre'Davious White. They cut him. But, y'all, Sean McDermott, I feel like he's one of the better defensive-minded head coaches in the NFL. So I feel like he's going to find a way to get the most out of the guys they do have. But this is going to be a very important game. All right, y'all, the next key game, week 8 at the Lions. And I know some people feel like this game isn't important because the Lions are in the NFC. But y'all, I think this game is huge for us. Like, seriously, because the Lions are a Super Bowl contender. Like, for real. And I know some people think the Lions are going to win the Super Bowl. So if we were to go on the road and get a massive win like this, y'all, I mean, wow. Okay, now you have to say, like, we would probably be Super Bowl contenders. Like, seriously. If we go on the road and beat the Lions, we would be Super Bowl contenders. So, and I know this, I'm getting like way ahead of myself. But I'm just saying, y'all, if we pull off this upset against the Lions week 8, y'all will have to take us, like the media will have to take us as serious Super Bowl contenders because the Lions have one of the better rosters in the NFL. I mean, give their GM Brad Holmes a lot of credit. I mean, look at the way he just totally remade that defense in one offseason. Signing DJ Reader, y'all, drafting Ennis Rakestraw Jr. and Terrion Arnold, and they already had Brian Branch on that defense, and Kirby Joseph, and obviously Aiden Hutchinson and Aleem McNeil. Then on offense, you got Jared Goff and the elite offensive line led by Panay Sewell and Frank Ragnow. And then you got Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, David Montgomery, oh my goodness, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Jameson Williams all on offense. I mean, it's a very stacked roster. So if we were able to beat the Lions, yeah, we would be Super Bowl contenders, y'all. And then I think that this stretch, y'all, is going to be so important for us. It's week 14 to week 18. And you ask, Zay, why is this stretch so important for your Titans? Well, y'all, number one, the reason it's important is because, y'all, we have 4 games against divisional opponents. Okay, and if we want to have a shot of winning this division, we probably at least got to go 2-2, if not 3-1. Week 14, we got the Jazz. Week 16, we got at the Colts. Week 17, we got at the Jazz. And then week 18, y'all, we're home against the Houston Texans. And sandwich in between there, y'all, is week 15 versus the Bengals. And the reason I put this game on there is because, again, y'all, the whole AFC conference record, right? The Cincinnati Bengals, they're in the AFC. And both of us, I expect, y'all, for them to be, battling for playoff position, and I also expect for us to be battling for playoff positioning. So I think this game is going to be very important. But these 5 games right here, y'all, is either going to do one or two things: make or break this team. Seriously, go make or break us. Because if we want to have a shot of going to the playoffs, we're going to have to. I think we're going to have to go 3-2 in this stretch, y'all. 3-2, right? In some tough games. The Jaguars, the Jaguars, they're looking to bounce back in a major way. After last year, they started 8-3, y'all. They finished the season 1-5, right, going 9-8, including a Week 18 loss to my Tennessee Titans that kept them out of the playoffs. Week 15 against the Bengals, y'all. Again, the Bengals are like the Jaguars. Last year, they had a lot of injuries, right? Obviously, Joe Burrow, he missed a lot of games. Now they're looking to come back and show they're still one of the best teams in the NFL. You got the Colts, y'all. The Colts, they're looking to show that last year was not a fluke, and then now that Anthony Richardson is back, they can really establish themselves as an AFC powerhouse. Then again, Week 17 against the Jags, and then Week 18, y'all, against the Houston Texans. And we know what all the successes that the Houston Texans, y'all had last year. And this year, the Houston Texans are trying to establish themselves as a true contender. So if my Tennessee Titans want to have a shot of going to the playoffs, we're going to at least have to go 3-2 in these games. Again, it's going to be very difficult, y'all. We're going to have to try to find a way to get it done. And y'all, finally, this is what I know a lot of y'all been waiting for. My record prediction for the Tennessee Titans. Drum roll, please. My record prediction, y'all, for the Tennessee Titans, I have us going 10-7, which is going to give us the 6th seed in the AFC. And y'all see that NFL playoff logo at the left-hand corner, y'all. I have this team going back to the playoffs. I just think when you look at all the talent that Rand Carthon has assembled, y'all, bringing in Calvin Ridley and Tyler Boyd, right, to give Will Levis more weapons, drafting J.C. Latham, bringing in Lloyd Christian-Bale on the offensive line, right, to bolster up the line that he's going to be playing with. And then on defense, y'all, adding L'Jarius Sneed and Cheeto Bay Awuzie and Quandre Diggs and Tavondre Sweat and Sebastian Joseph Day, and then signing Kevin Murray Jr. last week, trading for Ernest Jones. I just think when you look at this team, y'all, yes, we have a difficult schedule, but I think this team is going to shock the world. I think we're going to have a season very, very, very similar to the 2021 Cincinnati Bengals. Y'all remember the 2021 Cincinnati Bengals? They spent a lot of money in free agency. But a lot of people were still kind of questioning if all those moves that they made in free agency was going to pay off in the regular season. And it did. They ended up going to the Super Bowl. Now, y'all, I'm not ready to say this team is going to go to the Super Bowl. But I am going to say, y'all, that this team is going back to the playoffs. They're going to shock the world. And that people are not going to want to see my Tennessee Titans because, y'all, I don't think we're going to get blown out in any game this year. I really don't. I don't. And you look at last year, y'all, we had like 7 one-score games. Like, we easily could have been a better team last year if we had better players. Okay? Easily could have been a better team if we had better players. And this year, y'all, I think because we have better players, we're going to be able to close games out. And we're going to be able to blow out a couple of people as well. Because why, y'all? We just have more talent. Let's be honest. We just have more talent than what we did last year. That's why we lost. We were in so many games. Y'all remember last year against the Seattle Seahawks on Christmas Eve? We literally only lost that game by a field goal. Remember against the Houston Texans? We only lost them. And when we played them at home, we only lost them by a field goal. Like, you talking about the Seattle Seahawks, y'all. They were one game away from going to the playoffs, and the Houston Texans did make the playoffs. And we still almost beat those teams, right, with a very undermanned roster. Now you're talking about this roster is significantly better. I just don't see how that's not going to translate to more wins because it's going to be a whole lot easier for us to win games. Why, y'all? Because, again, we have better talent. So, yes, I have my Tennessee Titans making the playoffs, y'all, going 10-6, having the 6th seed in the AFC. And again, y'all, I think we're going to really, really, really surprise a lot of people, man. So there y'all have it. There's my Tennessee Titans 2024 season preview and predictions, man. I hope y'all enjoyed this on this Labor Day. And I just want to say appreciate everyone that was on here, man. I see some people on YouTube. I see some people on Twitch. So appreciate all of y'all. I know this was kind of late, but I'm still, just very happy and, again, appreciative that y'all chose to come and watch the ZayMoolah Sports Podcast on tonight. So, again, y'all, happy Labor Day to everyone, man. I hope you ate some really good food, have some really good laughter with your family. Remember, y'all, laughter is good medicine. So what? Make sure you get your daily dose. Y'all know I'm going to end it, man. I love y'all. God bless. Peace.